Hello, class. I've gotten a few questions about identifying concavity from graphs, particularly from graphs of the original function. So I wanted to sort of re-stress what concavity and inflection points meant, just in terms of the original graph. I think I do a bunch of examples where you're given a graph of the derivative, but not as many in the videos where you're given the original graph. So I wanted to sort of re-emphasize what's going on here. So I'm going to just label where this function is concave up and concave down and where its inflection points are. Okay, so first I want to remind you that whenever you see something that's any piece of this shape, that is whether it's the left piece or that piece or the whole thing, this is what concave down looks like. So this is concave down. And any piece of this graph, you're supposed to imagine that this looks more like that. Any piece of this graph, that's what concave up looks like. And so when I see, for example, this piece over here, that's a piece of this graph. So here it's concave up. So is this. So this is concave up too. But then this piece here, that's now looking like that. So it's concave down there. Okay, and so basically, as I sort of alluded to or wrote out in the video, there's basically sort of four pieces that you can make graphs out of, namely things that look like that, things that look like that, things that look like this, and things that look like that. And these two pieces we call concave up. They're the ones that fit together to form this U. And these two we call concave down. They're the ones we fit together to form this, whatever you want to call this symbol. Okay. So if I start looking at the graph here, this is concave down. And the thing I'm trying to figure out is where does it switch? And so somewhere in here, somewhere about, eyeballing it about there, this thing switches from being concave down on the left to being concave up on the right. Okay. And again, you can see sort of like here's the downward pointing U and here's the upward pointing U. And there's this sort of point in the middle. And you should look for the point where the graph is straightest to find the inflection point. So it looks almost like a straight line right near this point. So that's where my inflection point is. Okay, likewise, here it's concave up. But then over here it's concave down. So there must be an inflection point somewhere in here as well. So I can figure out in here, where does it switch from concave up to concave down? I think it's about there. Okay, so here it is concave down. Okay, and then it's back to being concave up, so I've got to figure out where that happens, and that appears to be somewhere around about there. Switches back, and so over here it's concave up. Okay. And so when you're asked for what intervals something is concave up and concave down on, it's concave down on these two intervals, and it's concave up on these intervals. And when you're asked about the inflection points are these 3 points where the function changes concavity. All right, hopefully that helps. Again, if you have any more questions, please feel free to email me, post them on the forum, whatever works for you. Just let me know and I'll talk more about this or give you more examples of specific things if you want. But until next time, be well.